Hey viewers and friends, Andrew back again, and welcome to my answers for my Q&A video. Thanks a lot to everyone that asked me some questions. There were some really good questions and some rather tricky ones, so we'll see if I can hopefully answer them all. This is probably going to be in two parts. We'll just see how I go. So I'll be looking away from the camera from time to time because I'm out in the living room and I'll be looking at the computer screen, so that is why. The first lot of questions are from 70s and 80s horror. He asks, what is your favourite movie ever? The Goonies. That gets asked a lot in this Q&A. The second question is, do you play video games? Yes, I do, but not as much as I used to. The third question is, are there any movies you're looking forward to? Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Battleship, Expendables 2, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, the Halloween reboot, or Halloween 3 of course, the sequel to the Hunger Games, Catching Fire, the Child's Play remake. There's a horror movie that's coming out, I forget what it is called, so if anyone can refresh my memory, please do so. All I know is that it sounds really, really good, and it's stars the girl from the Hunger Games, Jennifer, I can't remember her last name, she played Katniss in the Hunger Games. It stars her, so they're the movies I'm looking forward to. The next lot of questions are from Average Consumer Boy. If you were stuck on an island and had to fight one horror icon, who would it be? Awesome question. It'd be Michael Myers, because not only is he my favourite, but I think he'd probably be the easiest one to fight. He'd still probably kill me, but I'd probably have the best chance against him. If there was a Hunger Games / Battle Royale with horror villains, who do you think would win? Definitely Jason Voorhees. I think he would just rip into everyone. And it's kind of his sort of environment as well. And the last question's, what's your favourite item from your movie collection? It's not a movie, but it is movie related, and it is my original Captain Kirk H1 Halloween mask. Love that thing. The next lot of questions are from Colfie, aka Gary. I really want to know how to pronounce the name of the town where you live. Yes, it's called Ballina, and that's my username, Andrew Ballina. Everyone seems to call it Ballina, and it doesn't piss me off, but I kind of find it amusing that people don't know how to pronounce it, but now you do, so there's no excuses to mispronounce my name anymore. Then the next question is, the most money you've ever spent on a single title? Well, recently, and it's for a DVD, would be 30 Australian dollars for The Mutilator. It's a rather rare DVD, and certainly I don't regret spending that much on it. The next lot of questions are from Gather from Mandfly. What is your favourite movie that could be categorised as a chick flick? Probably Mean Girls. I enjoyed that one a lot. The next question's from Gorefather of Gore. Favourite horror movie of all time? John Carpenter's Halloween. Man, what a surprise. I'm sure no one knew that. Thanks for the question though. The next one's from Dark Empty Puppet or Lisa. She asks, if you were in the original Halloween movie, what would you do to stay alive? Run away from Michael, but I would pretty much like to be killed off by Michael Myers, but not right away, sort of halfway through the movie or towards the end. But yeah, I'd just run and try and fight as much as I could. The next question's from Scottish Film Fan. Favourite comedy movie? I don't watch a lot of comedies. I used to, but not so much anymore. But a really recent one that I had a lot of fun with was Grown Ups with Adam Sandler. In fact, I like a lot of Adam Sandler comedies, but Grown Ups was really, really good. Your least favourite horror movie and why? Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, because it's a piece of shit, and in my opinion, he ruined the Halloween franchise. and I really hate him for that. The next lot of questions are from 88JCVD. The first one is, what film would you like to come on Blu-ray that hasn't already? I would have said E.T., and I guess I could say that because it hasn't been released yet, but it has been announced. Probably one that I'd really like to see come out on Blu-ray that hasn't already is The Gate. I really enjoy that, and there's a lot of slasher movies as well that I really love to see a Blu-ray release. So yeah. Then the second question is, what slasher films do you think are overrated and underrated? In terms of underrated, Satan's Little Helper, in terms of a modern slasher, and probably for an 80s slasher, I would say The Intruder. Definitely one of the best 80s slasher movies that doesn't get nearly enough recognition. Overrated slasher movies, for a modern one, probably the original Hatchet. As much as I like it, and I do like it the more I see it, I do think it's definitely overrated. And in terms of an older one, probably going to get a little bit of hate for this, but the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I do like the movie, but I don't think it's near as good as everyone makes it out to be. And then the third question is, what is your favourite Friday the 13th kills? Great question. There's a lot. I mean, the Friday the 13th series has some of the best kills in slasher history, but a couple that stand out for me is in part 2, where the guy's in the wheelchair and he gets the machete to the face from Jason and he rolls back down the stairs. That's a really good one. I also really enjoy the kill in part 6, where they're in that AV or RV motorhome thing, and the woman gets her face shoved through the side of the AV and there's like an imprint. That's a really good one. And I think it's in part 3. It's either in part 3 or part 2, but I'm pretty sure it's in part 3, where the guy's doing a handstand and then he gets sliced in half. That's a pretty cool one. But yeah, there's a ton of others. I mean, the Friday the 13th series, as you probably all know, has some fantastic kills. The next questions, we'll do 2 more lots. The next one's from Mr. Movies Etc. And he asks, if you could meet any movie icon, actor, director, etc., who would it be and what is the first thing you would say to them? I'd love to meet John Carpenter, and the first thing that I'd say to him is, you're a fucking genius for making Halloween. The second question is, if I recall correctly, you're not a big fan of musicals. However, if you could turn one of your favourite horror or slasher movies into one, which would it be? That's a tricky question. Probably Shaun of the Dead, and I don't really know why, but you know, it's just sort of got such a fun comedy element to it that I think they could do something musical with it. I don't know. The last one is, what was the first movie that absolutely scared the fuck out of you? Probably The Exorcist, and it still kind of does. I find that movie pretty creepy. So thanks a lot for the questions, Tyler. The last one for this part is from the Horror Man, Joe. What's up? And he asks, what is your favourite Goonie and why? My favourite Goonie is Data, because of all his inventions. Even though they don't work half the time, I love his character and his inventions. Plus he's best friends with Mikey. The next one is, what is your all-time favourite kill scene in a slasher film? That is a really, really tricky one because there are a lot of really good ones. Probably my favourite, or the one that's had the most impact on me, is probably the scene in the original Halloween where young Michael kills Judith. To me, that's probably had the most impact. It's not an overly exceptional kill or anything, but it's one that's always stayed with me. I'm a big fan of head decapitations in slasher movies, so probably the head decapitation scene with the table in Hatchet 2. A lot from the Friday the 13th series. Yeah, so there's too many really to do an all-time favourite, but probably the one that always stands out as having the most impact for me is, young Michael killing his sister Judith. The next one is, which movie, horror or non-horror, do you think has the best atmosphere and setting? I'd probably go with a modern horror movie called Dead Silence, which has definitely got fantastic atmosphere, and is well worth checking out. So thanks a lot for the questions, Joe. So that's part one. I'm going to cut it off here and then we'll continue on with part two.